Well, welcome back to Business Today TV. We've got a great show lined up. Gerhard, how are you going downstairs in the other studio?
I must say I don't think I can get used to this this isolation.
I know. I tell you what, the guests have been coming in though have been absolutely fantastic. We had Helia Singh, Purse Wealth Coach. Andrew Ford popped in to see us. So we've got him on the show again today from the old famous Ford and Doonan. That was a great interview. You actually got to ask them your 60-second questions as well, Gerhard.
That 60-second questions is just so good for me because each and every one there's a gold nugget that comes out and it's from the heart. People don't have time to think about it. Great section.
And we actually managed to cross again to South Africa to speak to Anne-Marie there from Mind Skills Coaching. And a bit of a special one. We went and visited, well, got an interview with an Olympian, but an Olympian of fine arts, Lena Kalinian. How was that, Gerhard?
Very interesting. Didn't expect that from that interview.
No. So stick around. It's going to be a great show. Well, we have got a great show lined up. Our first guest coming up is Helia Singh. But before we do, Gerhard, last week's question, the value of a mentor, my friend.
Interesting to see the action that you get from people when you ask about mentorship. And the one thing that came up for me for mentorship is that I waited too long before I got a mentor. Realizing now I could have saved so much money and time. And just to have somebody to brainstorm with. I think mentorship is not always somebody to tell you what to do, but it's about having that person that you can just share and listen to you in a safe space.
I think that's one of the things why people find our mentorship program so good. I mean, yes, you get the videos, which actually got skill sets in there, and we share ideas and strategies and techniques. But it's also that monthly get together in the mentorship group where we get to share with each other's experiences and brainstorm, as you said, those problems, mastermind them almost, as it were. I think that's the value of mentorship, is you get a collective mastermind going behind your business for yourself.
I attended a conference and they call it a hot seat, where they have 4 mentors, and you go and present your business. But 20 people listen to what you do in your business as well. And we thought this is going to be boring, to listen to 20 different businesses. The value that we've got from each and every one presenting to 4 mentors and the feedback they gave back was just priceless.
Yeah, I know when you asked the question, and Helia Singh is coming up, and we said to Helia about, what stops people doing things, taking on a mentor, maybe taking that next step in the business. And she made this comment, and it's the title of this interview we had with her, Find 100 Reasons. We're still social distancing here. Look, Helia, great for you to pop in and give us some time. I watched your recent video there on YouTube, Golden Values and Shadow Values. Highly recommend it. If people are finding a bit of a struggle at the moment, go and watch that. But you made a comment on there, and it really resonated with me. You said, find 100 reasons. And I'm going, that could be a show all to itself. What is this 100 reasons?
You see, we all learn by layers. Information is just gone to our brain only through layers. If we do something once, times, twice, or 3 times, we may know to do it, but I'll just always, use the same analogies such as cooking or driving or, any activity. Only by repetition and keep doing it, that becomes permanent. So that's why it's just to make it permanent, that you really believe in it, you need to keep doing it. So at least like 5, if I say 5 ways, 10 ways, okay, everybody can come up with it. But when we go 100 ways, and I'll give you a secret, not many people actually get to the 100, because by the time they reach 60, 70, they are so inspired that finally the penny dropped. So they don't have to keep doing it. So that's the only reason, because it just gives you that repetition factor. And of course, I suggest people to actually use the pen and paper, because the neurology between talking about your pen and your brain, that will help you to get more inspiration rather than using your electronic pad or using a pen pad and stuff like that.
It's interesting you mentioned that pen and paper. Is it that kinetic feeling, that connection between brain and actual something physical rather than just an electronic device? Do you find that if you did it on an electronic device, there's a disconnect and you don't get the same power? Is that what you're
Oh, for
saying?
sure, for sure. I'm still a very old school. Even reading books, I like to feel it, smell the book, rather than reading on devices. Which, of course, as long as you read, I don't mind how you read. But to get the better result, I suggest you to use and stick to the traditional ways.
Now, one thing I suppose a few people may say, and watch that video, it's really, really good. We're going to put a link to that underneath. But they may say, oh my goodness, Helly, 100. And then you said, by the time I get to 50, 60, 70, I'll be, but 56, how am I going to do that? Can I do it?
Of course you can. Look, you just need to start. That's the first thing. You don't need to know the whole things. You, obviously, in the beginning, you wouldn't even know more than 3 or 4, if at all, if you're lucky. But the main thing is just to start and not to give up, because the more you write it, the more you'll come up with more reason. You will be surprising yourself with that resources that you have in your brain, things that you haven't been tapped into it and haven't used it. But if you be honest with yourself and really be committed to that exercise, you will find it. And one more point, actually, this is the part that people, when they talk about are you interested or committed, it's all about being motivation and inspiration. Because if we are just motivated, we are doing things that we are interested to do. But if we are inspired, we are 100% committed.
Wow. Do I take it that this could be a process? It may not be in one sitting, but it's something that you get your mind focused on. And of course, when you focus on things, things get attracted to you. So you could do this over 2 or 3 sittings to actually get there?
Oh, for sure. Look, that's what I love about the self-development, because you will improve yourself and build yourself step by step in different way. Because as humans, we are full of contradictions and conflicts, because that just passed down to us by generations and the culture and society. And obviously these days, thanks to internet, we see things that we just say that, oh, why I'm not like that, or why my life, it should have been this way or that way. It's just many different messages we receive, and we don't know even how to process it. So it takes more than one sitting to go through this. But the main thing is not to give up, and there is always a way to fix everything and enjoy life.
Wow, what a great interview there with Helia, Gerhard, and 100 reasons. Find 100 reasons.
We can always find an excuse not to do something. And for me, it's about a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. When you have a growth mindset, you will always find a reason to do something. Fixed mindset, you'll find a reason not to do something.
And I think that is, we've talked the last few weeks about the value of mentorship, and I know we've got our own mentorship program. I'll put the link underneath. But I think that mentorship does help you get other people around you to support you through, well, those tough times that we all tend to go through, as well as giving strategies and ideas and techniques to grow your business. There also is that support to give you that mental support to actually get that push through and help you find those 100 reasons.
But mentorship for me is like I said, maybe in previous times as well, is that it's all about sometimes speaking to somebody that just listens. And it's so good to have that mentor, because that's a very safe place for you to share your thoughts and ideas.
Absolutely. Well, one person I do enjoy who shares his thoughts and ideas is Mr. Andrew Ford. He's our next guest, and Andrew is talking about how he gets his ideas by listening to his customers. Well, we're back with Andrew Ford, Ford and Doonan Air Conditioning. How are you, Andrew?
Terrific, Michael, thank you.
It amazes me. I mean, Ford and Doonan, 35 years, I believe, you've been around?
Indeed, yeah.
So I guess one of the questions for startups, they're looking at how Ford and Doonan's huge success and fantastic reputation you've got. When did you and Kyle say our reputation will give us our future, and did you have a conscientious decision, or is it just a natural thing within you two for Ford and Doing to turn out this way?
It's a really good question. I think inevitably it comes from within and the way we were brought up and our genetics and that sort of thing. So it wasn't like something we consciously did. It just felt right to always do the right thing. We probably didn't realise the importance of it until some years after we got going in business, that we were doing the right thing and not leaving any burnt bridges. And that's one of the things I always believe is never burn a bridge behind you, because you never know when you need to go back. And even if that person did the wrong thing by you, as long as it wasn't paramountly bad, you don't need to burn that bridge. You don't need to say what you may want to say to that person, because that person may come back into your world and be an asset that you'd be glad you didn't burn.
One thing that strikes me with Ford and Doing in particular, you've always looked at the clients. Now, Ford and Doing sets a super high standard, at a very reasonable price for your air conditioners. One thing that got me, you and Kyle said, we want our clients to save money, and you picked an area, and it was the ducting, and you actually invested your own money in developing a better ducting system. That's got to be tough for a business owner to say, let's invest this money so the customer will benefit.
That's right. It can be a tough decision if you're purely profit focused and short term thinking. I think strategically you need to start to adopt a strategic approach to a lot of these decisions and look greater than 1, 2 years, even 5, maybe even out to 10 years. And a lot of the time it's not even a matter of investing your own money, it's a matter of not doing what everyone else is doing. So if the supplier offers you A, B and C, which one do you want? We'll have a look at another supplier who might have E that you can put between A and B that delivers a superior product. So it's not always about the investment or coming up with a whole new engineered solution. It's a matter of looking laterally at what's available and don't just follow everyone, which has always been our philosophy. If everyone's going down path A, we like to have a good look down path B, and we'll often find a better route down there.
And I noticed one of the things, you're very progressive. I mean, 35 years and you still look for that edge or that benefit a customer can get. Now, recently, I got the inside tip. We've had the COVID-19 and viruses. And obviously air conditionings can sell viruses, with the airflows and so forth. Probably never been highlighted as much until COVID-19. But instant you went, it got highlighted, you moved to help alleviate the problem. Can you give us an insight on that?
Yeah, I guess that's what the idea of a good entrepreneur is. They see an opportunity that may not be evident to everybody. And we identified it was the first one pushing it within the company was to put in ultraviolet sanitizing lamps inside the air conditioning system of a ducted air conditioner. And with the benefit obviously of decontaminating any air, any virus, bacteria. And you're dead right, no one would have thought or bothered to invest in this sort of UV lamp technology prior to Corona, but now it is front of mind and it's an opportune time to launch it. And always, we're also looking, whilst the benefit always has to be there for the customer, it's also about being different and standing out. What's different Ford and Doing to any one of our competitors? And if you haven't got something different, you tend to really blur in with the pack. And then it comes down to a price thing often. So to differentiate yourself, I think it's a powerful tool to have in any business.
Business owners looking at Ford and Doing 35 years, you continue to innovate. You've done it with the ducting to save money. You're now doing it with the ultraviolet lamps to help reduce bacteria and viruses in people's homes and commercial premises. Someone looking though and going, can you give them a piece of advice? How do you do it? I mean, you guys make it look easy. You and Kyle just seem to go, a customer benefit. Let's get it. Is there something you could tell a business owner today that they could also look and go, that's type of an attitude or it's a strategy to spot opportunities?
A lot of the opportunities arise from feedback from listening to your customers. Like another little innovation we did with our builders is the builders used to hate the way we ran a particular condensate drain that had to be visible the way it came out of the eaves of the roof line, and there was a little stub sticking out. The amount of calls we got, someone hasn't finished the drains. We have finished the drains, that's it. We did go through and explain it. Then I thought, the only reason we're doing that, is there another way around that? So we then, now as standard, put in an emergency drain alarm, meaning that little drain that used to have to be visible, which was best practice, now can be hidden because the drain will now alert the homeowner if there is additional condensation in the drain tray that shouldn't have water in it. So
Wow.
often it's about listening to your customers, and if you hear the same thing a handful of times, you got to not just ignore it, look for the opportunity. Okay, if I do that, everyone else is probably doing what I was doing. How can I be different? So a lot of the times it's about using your ears and not just doing the same thing every day.
I think we've found the secret to forward and doing success, listening to the customers.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to do, isn't it?
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thanks for joining us again on Business Today.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, goodness me. Who would have thought listening to your customers was a good idea? Gerhard.
We always talk about innovation, and people say, but I get stuck with innovation. After Andrew's interview, if you listen to what your customer needs, it's easier to innovate.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's the value we've been talking, as you know, over the last few weeks for mentorship. And people say, what is it? Well, mentors, normally they've either ran their own business or still running their own, what we would call real businesses. Like I've had cleaning companies, I've had computer companies, building companies, I've franchised. You've dealt in the international markets. You've got audiology businesses as well, Gerhard, as well as liaise between private enterprise and government enterprise.
You need those mentorships. You need those people that went through the process before to help you. Why? I said it before as well. A clever person learns from his mistakes, but a genius learns from other people's mistakes. That's why there's a mentor.
And talk about learning from other people. I'm not quite sure about learning from their mistakes, but learning from their insights on this one. It is your famous 60-second question when you corral them in and only give them 60 seconds to answer this. And as they say, success leaves clues. What did you ask them this week, Gerhard?
Well, we asked them, if you struggle to get customers, what advice would you give them to get more customers?
Well, I would say to them that first of all, what is their product, their service as a business? If they are truly believe in their product and service, which they can sit there and write 100 reasons why their product and service can improve someone's life. If they truly believe in that, then they can easily sell it, because then the message comes out in a way that you are a healer, not trying to sell someone and being a salesperson.
Well, the first thing I'd say to them is who are you networking with and who you're talking to. And the second thing I'd say to them is who's your biggest competitor and what are they doing and why aren't you copying them?
To get more customers, to me, have a look at how you can add more value. Because people want to feel understood and they want to feel valued. So as soon as people are in a position that they feel that they matter to you, for whatever reason, whatever your service or your product is, have a look at ways and means in which you can add more value. Not only marketing, for example, that hardcore marketing, add a little bit of information as well that would help people in your product or your service. Add more value.
My advice would be to soul search. The two things I'd look at straight away would be your marketing, what you're not doing well or are you doing enough of it, and your repeat business must be lagging for a reason. So your face-to-face engagements with the customers, there's something missing in there because it shouldn't be that hard to get customers.
Wow, I do love those 60-second. What insights do you actually get from people by just getting right to the core, right to the heart of them? That 60 seconds really does, as we say, corral them in to give you the clues to success that they have learned.
But if you listen to these ideas and you don't do anything with them, it's worthless. You need to take at least one of those ideas that resonates with you and see how you can implement that idea. And I always use the CICR, the scissor strategy. What can I change, improve, create, remove? Take one of these people that you find, there was a golden nugget, and see what you can change in your business.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons of doing this show. We want to build a community, so we love getting your emails and your messages. I know a lot of you are writing to us privately now asking for hints and tips and what we do here. Please continue, we absolutely love that. We are developing that mentorship program where we're going to give key strategies and learnings in videos every week and get together as a collective group, a mentorship group. So if you're interested in that, put put your email down below, or just send us a private message. Write to us at info@worthingtonstoop.com.au. Oh no, not .au. I should remember, just .com, because it's international. So you get to speak to people from all over the world. Talk about people from all over the world, Gerhard. Caught up with Anne-Marie there in South Africa.
I love speaking to Anne-Marie. She had her own businesses. She worked in corporate. She was a professional. Now she's in the consulting industry. Love listening to her.
Yeah, this week she's actually talking about resilience, which is a good topic considering we had technical issues.
Well, yeah, and when you work in media, you definitely need resilience.
Well, we are back with Anne-Marie all the way in South Africa. How are you, Anne-Marie?
I'm very well, thanks, Michael, and you?
I'm very good. We're about to go to record. I will confess the phone rang. I didn't have it on. And I thought, well, this is good. This is all about resilience.
See.
Resilience. We hear this word bantered around a lot, but what does it mean? Is it just putting up a front? Is it just being tougher? Is it just, getting over yourself? What is this resilience that seems to have hit a trend topic at the moment?
Michael, to me, it means that you can perform under pressure. We all, in work environments and at home, definitely in traffic, we're under pressure. So resilience to me is the ability to still perform and the ability to bounce back, because at some point we all might lose it a bit, and that's okay. It's just, to me, how fast, how quickly you get back to that balance and to that place of homeostasis.
Okay, you used the word bouncing back. I kind of quite like the visual imagery on that word there. But when people, and I suppose people get angry, they get upset, they get stressed, they get disorientated. How do they, in those positions, even begin to think about bouncing back? Are there any techniques or strategies that you find are very simplistic to just recenter someone, just hold them for a moment so they can recover?
It's going to sound a bit sarcastic, but what I want to say is wake up. And with that, I mean, wake up to your state and wake up to your thinking. Because if you go through life in your subconscious, your unconscious state, you're going to go through this without even realizing the state that you're in. So to me, it means just wake up and become aware of the state that you're in so that you can manage your choice, because we always have a choice. If we, with regards to the state that we're in, either a toward state or an away state.
You talk about states that people are in, and we live in a world of, and maybe this is in line, maybe it's not, but we live in a world where there's so much social media where everyone's on these different platforms. Do you feel like some of these platforms are causing people to move into states where they may be better off not doing? Is there rationale around limit what you're actually? In my era, we used to call it what you feed your brain. Yeah, that might be a bit rough, but what is your comment around that?
Yeah, I think all these platforms, and specifically, if I may mention, like Facebook, is designed to almost be addictive. You can't stop. And what then happens is that you want more and more, and that you need that information, but the information is not always serving you. Because what happens in our brain is we compare ourselves. Where am I with regards to you? And that's not always, that doesn't always leave us in the best of states. So again, when we do find ourselves on these platforms or with the news, regardless of where you find yourself, is again for us to be aware of the impact that it has on you, and to wake up for that and be more mindful with regards to what you expose yourself to and for how long.
So just listen to what you're saying now, especially the bit about how we compare ourselves to other people. That seems to be a natural thing we do. Is this where maybe a starting point is to have a look at ourselves, accept ourselves, and set our own goals and our own agendas and make sure we're recentering on those types of strategies?
For sure, for sure. That is, however, a difficult journey. And I think for some people more difficult, and it also depends on where in your life you find yourself. We all get times and those weaker moments that you do feel that you should have been somewhere. Your business should have been in a specific place. Your relationship, financially, you should have been in a specific place. Now you get this information about someone else. You don't know what the rest of their lives look like, but you see the window dressing and you do compare yourself to that. But I think the ultimate, Michael, is for us to just have that self-love and self-acceptance and to understand that this is where I find myself now. But it's important to have your own back, to trust yourself and to, again, love yourself.
Yeah.
Have a bit of grace with yourself.
Well, I do love, as I am very conscious of your time, and I do really love how you conclude that. Love yourself, and I think you said accept yourself and trust yourself in the space that you actually find yourself in. Emery, if someone is having a difficult time right now and they're feeling a little bit, lacking in self-worth, and I think it's probably a common thing, what would be your number one piece of advice to them to help them start to move forward?
For me, Michael, it would be to go into a state of gratitude and to be still and to take the time to see what it is, what you have, and to literally make a list of that, to get it out of your thinking, to see what it is that you have to be grateful for, and to see what you have and who you are and what you've achieved in life, so that you enter into a day from a stronger point of view and not one that you're on your back foot all the time.
Wow, some great advice there once again, Emery. I really do appreciate getting up there early in the morning in South Africa and joining the team on this show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. It was nice talking to you.
Great advice there from Anne-Marie there in South Africa from Mind Skills Coach. She's absolutely brilliant. It was a very opportunistic topic considering we were fighting technical issues for the day. Even in a media company it goes wrong sometimes. She's absolutely sensational, Gerhard.
When it comes to resilience, I think that's one of those things that you need to create a habit for, learn to that's become a habit, because not everybody's got resilience.
Yeah, and I think that's the value of, and we've been really pushing this mentorship. Yes, you do need to have the skills and the techniques and the strategies, but also you need those mentors that are providing that to also give that mentorship and that group support to keep you going as well.
I agree with the mentorship and resilience. It becomes easier because you have somebody to keep you accountable, and just keep on fighting to get to your end goal.
Talk about somebody who's been fighting to keep to the end goal. This was a fascinating interview. I was joined with Lenas, a famous artist here in WA and sculptor. And Len introduced me to a friend of his, Lena Kaligian, who has won 2 gold medals, Gerhard, at the Olympics, but the Olympics for fine art. And I didn't even know this existed.
That was news to me as well. But the interview again, to me, was all about giving back. And it was just so fitting, I think, to end the show with them.
Yeah, here comes Lena Kaligian, dual gold medalist. She won it in 2008 and 2012 with her husband Gerhard. And they are based in Beirut, and they give so much back to the community, doing mosaics on park benches by the beach there, to restoring those valuable icons that, have been damaged in the churches and so forth. Here she is. This is a great interview. I joined with, I said, my friend Lenas on this one to talk with Lena Kaligian all the way in Beirut.
Len, where have we gone to?
We've gone to Beirut, Lebanon, and these are my friends, Lena and Gerhard.
So if you guys watching, we've actually got a screen off to just the side of the camera. How are you guys over in Beirut? How are you going?
Now it's the time is almost 11 morning in Beirut. Very sunny day today, thank God. Yesterday was very rainy and cold. Because we're in winter now.
Lena's been telling me a little bit about your story, and it was really interesting to get you over and onto the show. But you're famous as an artist, but in particular for icons and restoring Islamic parchments as well.
Yes, in fact, let me just give you some idea of how I started my studies. In fact, I started at the American University of Beirut. I studied geology. My passion was geology. When I was a kid, I used to collect rocks and minerals wherever I go, wherever I travel. So I'm fond of minerals. So my first major was geology, my bachelor. Then I continued iconography, studying icon painting and restoration. Meanwhile, I did a DSc in theology to learn more about the saints and their lives, because I was painting the icons. And in fact, my PhD is in arts, in fine arts and restoration of icons and all sorts of artworks. Later, I studied curatorial studies in Beijing in the Academy of Arts, and my restoration works that I studied was all over Europe, starting from Italy, all over Firenze, Orvieto, Monterchi, Roma, all over Italy, then to Greece, Castoria, Kozani, all over too, to do on-site restoration works. And then in Portugal and in Spain. This was with a collaboration with the University of London. So this is the whole thing. That then afterwards I got involved in so many other things, like the abstract paintings and city embellishment with my husband, because he's an architect who's next to me.
I was going to say, hang up, you're an architect. How do you find being an architect, how do you work with someone who's doing all this other, well, should we call it crazy stuff?
I'll tell you, it's in 2 words. I'm an architect by day, artist by night.
Now, I've got to ask you, the rumours are rife, Lena, but I've been told that you started a club called the Stolen Paintings Club.
What do you mean that?
I know.
How we started our.
I was telling Michael about how we started our group and how we lost our paintings in Beijing.
Yeah, yes.
And then we started the groups. I think that's what Mike is asking you about.
Lena, you have to start the whole story, and I will join you.
Well. Now, to me, my understanding and how it worked for me was that we got together as a special group because we lost our paintings in Beijing during the Olympic Fine Art exhibition.
When we tried to get it back,
we became a group, and you started the group, the Olympic Fine Art Association, OFA.
It was in 2008. This was, in fact, in 2008.
To me, that was an indication where a bad event is actually a good event when you look back at it. And, I'm not blaming China for having taken my painting, because we all, as humans, we all have access to the negative things we can choose to do, and that's just human beings. But anyway, we lost the paintings, and we became an international group, and we've done so many things together since then. And eventually, the Venice Biennale last year.
It was a blessing to be in the Olympics, China. It was a blessing to be.
You know, Len, if I may just say this, and I think you're going to love this. You know, there's an Arabic proverb that says, "مصائب قوم عند قوم فوائد." So let me just translate that, which means the calamities of some people are other people's good fortune. So I think this applies very well to our situation here, where it was a calamity to start with, and it turned out to be a very fortunate thing at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It's taught me about life, and it's actually helped me expand the circumstance of my joyous existence, because I now accept negative things as leading to positive things. So I'm not afraid of things going wrong ever anymore. I just take whatever comes.
Never, yes, of course. Let it go.
Let it go, let it direct.
You are the guy who mends and fixes things and makes cash out of cash.
In fact, we are very fortunate to be selected for the Olympics Beijing. It was a blessing to all of us. We got to meet each other. Don't forget that.
I'm not, to me, I'm so grateful for the events that happened. You know, I now say that my painting is in the National Museum in Beijing. I'm not sure where it is, and it doesn't matter. It was the thing that got us together.
In the Museum of Olympic Arts.
Lena and Gerhard, you've got such varied lives. We've got restoration work, we've got artists. You're an architect as well as an artist. What challenges has that brought to trying to mash all that into some semblance of a normal life, if there's such a thing? Have you found having such a mixture with each other difficult? Has there been challenges along the way to try and fit all that stuff in?
No, I think all the stuff that we do are daily challenges, but in when you are living in this part of the world where it feels like dancing around the tip of the volcano, and just going around in circles and trying not to fall inside the lava. But this is, I think, is a very stimulating challenge, because it keeps us challenged, and maybe it keeps us motivated that we should keep on going and doing all these things. It's maybe our modus operandi for maintaining our sanity in all this insanity that's going around us.
It's interesting. You don't have a minute that you can just think, just not do anything. You have to keep alert. You have to be creative. It pushes you to be creative in this part of the world, because there is always something happening.
There's a challenge every minute.
There's no lull.
You never get bored. If you never get a boring moment in this part of the world.
I love living in my country. Yes, let me shed some light on the association that we made, Meadows. It is Mediterranean endeavors advancing development of widespread sustainability. Meadows is headquarters is in Beirut, because we are both the co-founders of this association, and we are in 53 countries all over the world. And we are very, very fortunate and lucky to have Len Zooks, my wonderful friend, the international artist, to be the president of Australia, representing Meadows. And we do a lot of things it's an NGO, it's an association that we help, we promote arts in so many aspects. We promote art for internationally well-known artists, like we did the Venezia Biennale, we did in Jakarta, in Italy, we did so many exhibitions. And then we also help the youth, the children, to be involved in the Olympic art exhibition, youth art exhibitions, and all over the world also, like in the Nobel Peace Prize that we organized, we curated the show for the youth in the Olympics. In this way, the youngsters, they get to create. They would know how to start creating through the arts, on the piece of paper, their thoughts, expressing their thoughts, peace for their country. This is what we always do, and we always have socially to refugees, to other in need, especially to art therapy that we have helped so much in 2006 when we had the war in Lebanon. We helped traumatized children through art therapy. We train the trainers to help traumatized children of war.
Wow, I really enjoyed that. And yes, we fought time zones and everything to get that interview in Beirut, but thanks for Len for coming in, and thanks for Lena for actually taking part in that. And I think it was a great last interview for this show, because she really encapsulated everything we've been talking about today, Gerhard.
Exactly. They could have found 100 reasons not to do what they were doing. They listened to what people needed and then gave back. Resilience. Very easy in a war zone to say, this is not the right time to do anything. So for me, this was just such a good ending to the show.
Absolutely. I've absolutely loved being with you again this week. We say, right, keep those emails coming in, keep your questions coming in. Yes, the mentorship group is on the way. Michael, fall over your tongue on the live TV. But that is coming on the way. We're going to show you tactics, strategies. We're going to show you the how-to and all the mechanics for getting your business up and running, as well as forming that collective group to really be supportive for everyone on this journey with us. And before I make any more stumbles, Gerhard, I'm going to say goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.